Welcome back to the Graphically Hip channel. It's been a slice, been a while, been a minute. I've been very busy with my regular business, so haven't been able to record many videos lately, but keep sending me your requests and I will do my best to get them out in a speedy fashion. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to do a few different tricks actually. Number one, I'm going to show you how to resize multiple pieces of artwork so that you can print them as different items, such as different heat transfers like a left chest and a full front, or decals that are bigger and some that are smaller, that kind of thing. While also being able to adjust your cut line on all of them at the same time. And I'm also going to show you the first lesson I'm going to show you is how to make a cut line for this type of logo. So this is a logo that I just created for my client. So just as a caveat, topless refers to the car, not the human driving the car. So I wanted to point out that if you look at this black outline here that I've put on these letters, it's separate from this black outline. And I do that on purpose because if I were to weld the two together, I would lose the black outline behind these letters. So I'll just show you what I'm talking about like that. So even if I send that to the back layer, now I lose all that black behind there, and I don't want that. I want to keep that there. So the trick I'm going to show you is I'm going to select my black outline here, and I'm going to select my black outline here. And then I'm going to hit, on my Mac, I'm obviously using Command, but on a PC, you'll use Control. So I'm hitting Command C and Command F. And Command F just pastes it in place exactly where you cut it from. It'll paste it right back there. Then I'm hitting Shift, Command, and the right facing square bracket, which is right above the return key. And that's going to bring all of that to the top layer just so that I can see it better and not have anything else in my way. From there, I'm going to go to my Pathfinder tool, which you can also find under Window, and I'm hitting Unite. Now that that's united, I can turn that into my cut line, and I should have my cut line saved in here. I'll give it a second to populate. I just restarted my computer, so I'm getting all kind of funky messages now. I don't think either. Oh yeah, so it's this one here. So that gave it the fill, but I want it to be the stroke, so I'm just going to switch it to stroke. Now, as you know, your cut line needs to be 0.25. So that's what I've done. I'm going to now add bleed to this. Now, because this is such a simple shape and there aren't like a whole lot of anomalies surrounding it, an easy way to add bleed to this is just to draw a square of the same color of the background. That's probably the simplest and fastest way. So I've drawn my square. I'm going to select the letter I. That's the eyedropper tool. And I'm just going to put it on my black spot there. And then I need to send this to the back layer. So that's Shift, Command, and then the left facing square bracket, which is directly beside the letter P on the keyboard. Alternatively, we can right click, we can go Arrange, and Send to back. See, there's your Shift, Command, and your left bracket. There, now I have bleed on that. And just because I like to show you the right way to do bleed, I'm going to do that next. So I've deleted that. I'm going to select my pink shape, and you know it's selected because of the color that's displaying here. And we're going to go to object. We're going to go to path, offset path, and I am doing this a little faster than normal because I do have another video which I will put at the end of this video that you can click on that shows you how to do all of this properly. So bleed is typically 0.25 of an inch. So I guess technically that square that I drew was maybe not enough bleed, and I should have made it a little bit bigger. But at least now you know how to do that little trick. And again, I'm just selecting my eyedropper tool, selecting the black so it's the exact same black, and sending it to the back. So now I have this item with bleed. Now, this particular client wants me to make her a t-shirt that has the logo on the left chest as well as a full logo on the back. I'm also going to be making her some vehicle decals at 2 different sizes. So I'm going to show you how to resize all of these quickly, and then once we resize anything, our stroke, our pink stroke that we have is also going to change its point size. So I'll show you how to very quickly change that. Also, before I do anything, I just remembered I want to change my black. I'm not a big fan of, oh, I already did this, but I'm not a big fan of blacks that are 100% K only. So normally when you choose black, like down here or in here, it's going to default to 0, 0, 0, 100. I don't like that black. I personally find that it prints a little bit muddy. So I opt for a rich black. And there are a few different rich blacks out in the wild. I prefer this one the most, so I call it 60, 40, 40, and 100. So that's the black that I like to print. You might play around. Some people do like a 30, 20, 60, 100. There's a few different formulas out there, but I don't know. Just for me and for the BN20 printer, I prefer this one. And actually, any Roland printer prints this black really nicely. Okay, so I'm selecting my whole thing, and currently this is sitting at 2.7 inches wide and 3 inches tall, and that's just not good enough. So for the left chest, and actually for the left chest logo, I'm going to take away the bleed just for now so we get a true size. The true size here is 2.2 by 2.5. Left chest, I typically do 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to type right in here, 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to add my bleed to that. Offset path, 0.25, okay. Eyedropper, and send to back. Okay. So now I know that this was 3.5 inches wide. Therefore, if we add 0.25 of an inch all the way around, then my outside shape should be 4 inches. And I mean, 3.9 is good enough. So if we do the math, and let's say now I want my back print to be, I typically do a 10-inch on an adult shirt. So what I'm going to do is select my print here, and I'm going to hold Shift and Alt. So Shift will slide it over in a perfect straight line, whereas if I don't hit Shift, I can move it around. Shift will keep it in that nice straight perpendicular line, while Alt makes a copy. So now you can see if I let go of Alt, look at my cursor, I lose that second arrow, and I'm just dragging my shape. But if I hold Alt, it adds that second arrow and makes me a copy. So now for a back, I want to make this 10 inches, which means I have to add the 0.25 inches and account for the bleed. So I have to make this 10.5 inches. And if I were to just type in 10.5 right now, this thing would be much bigger and it would cover this artwork, which isn't the end of the world, but I don't want that. So I'm going to refer to this little chart here. This is your reference point chart, and I'm going to click on the top left arrow, which means that this whole thing will expand from this point right here. If I were to choose the middle left, it would expand from this point. So I'll show you what both of those look like just so you can see. So see how it expanded evenly from the middle? Whereas if I choose this top one, it expands from this point. So now I have my two logos for the shirt. And I'm going to change my artboard size to match my media. So I always just use 18 inches, and then because I don't know exactly how tall I'm going to need this, I'm just going to go 12 for now. And I'm going to put this here. And because I don't want to waste any media space, I'm just going to add another one. And again, that's not something that that you always need to do, because then you're also wasting ink. But when you're doing just one shirt for somebody, it's always good to have a backup copy of something just in case, when you print this, it smudges up here, um, or something happens to the print after you've printed it and one gets destroyed. Ideally, I would like to have two of the back as well, but these ones are small enough that you can fit a second one on there. So that's why I'm just putting two for now. And then because I do have all this extra white space, I'm going to now adjust my artboard so that when I bring it into VersaWorks, I don't have that extra space that's annoying, and then you can't fit anything else beside it. Okay, so there's my shirt prints. Now I'm also making some decals for this client, so that'll be on a separate artboard that I'm actually going to be outsourcing to a printer who has a larger printer than mine. But I'm going to show you how to make those anyways. So this client wants two decals at 18 inches by 18 inches. So of course we're doing the math and accounting for that 0.25 inch bleed. So 18 and a half. So we're going to make two of those. And then we're going to do one decal that is 16. And when I send my artwork to another printer, for whatever reason, often things go awry and I don't understand why, but it happens. And, like, for example, I'll get the decals back and this gradient will be just a solid color or some weird thing. So I have a feeling that they're taking my print ready PDFs, pulling them into like Corel Draw or Illustrator or something, and just to see how they're made. I'm not really sure, but it happens more often than not. So what I like to do and you can do this on your printer as well, just to avoid any mistakes. So I will select my decal, but I will hold shift and deselect my pink outline. I don't know if that worked or not. I guess we'll find out. So I'm just holding shift and then selecting my pink outline because I don't want to choose that. Yeah, so I did it right. And then I'm just going to go to Object, Rasterize. If you don't know the difference between raster and vector, just refer to my video that's called Roland Printer FAQs. I think I explain it pretty well in there. And then I'm going to choose high. 300 ppi or 300 dpi is standard for printing. So I'm just going to leave that where it is. All printers that I know of are CMYK, so I'm going to leave that. And I'm just going to select transparent. I don't usually bother with this stuff down here. So, yeah, just make sure that you use transparent. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like when you choose white. So this is now turning my artwork into a raster object. Essentially, it's flattening everything and turning it into pixels. So nothing can be edited on it, nothing can be changed, and all that we're going to be left with is that pink outline. That's vector. So now you see how we chose white. It adds that white background to it, which I absolutely can't stand. So that's why I choose transparent. And honestly, it doesn't really matter if you're just printing it anyway. It really doesn't matter. I don't like the looks of it, so I change it to transparent every time. My computer's got a lot of stuff running in the background, so it's a little bit slow today. Okay, so now I'm left with my pink outline. That should be the only thing that's in vector right now. And if you go Command Y into outline mode, you see 0 details in there. Look at all the details in the vector version. So that's how you know that this has been rasterized properly. So now I'm just going to do the same thing over here. And because this particular printer always messes things up. And then I'll show you one more trick as soon as this is done. I promised you that when we resized these logos that the pink stroke would also get resized and its points would change. Also, I need to add some bleed here that I forgot about. So I'll show you how to do that really quick too. Okay, our pink stroke is no longer 0.25, and that's because we've expanded these a great deal. Now, instead of going and I guess in this case it's not as big a deal, but typically I have a lot of these things on one page. So instead of going and clicking on each individual one, I'm just going to click on one. Then I'm going to select, and I'm going to go to same, and I'm going to stroke color. So that will select everything that I have on this page that has that same stroke color. And then I'm just going to change them all at once. Done. So easy. Okay, now I need to add bleed. And I'm not going to be able to do it on that one because I've rasterized it. So I'm going to do it on this one just so you can see. So this kind of sash or whatever, this transparent object needs to bleed beyond our cut line. Couple different ways you can do this. Number one, you can select your direct selection tool using the A key or clicking on it, and then you can drag your points out. I don't think I recommend this because we've just changed the shape of that. So unless you're really proficient at the direct selection tool and the pen tool and just watch the space here. When I drag this out, now I have to adjust that to make sure it's the same. So unless you're pretty decent at, judging where things are at, I don't recommend this option. Although I am pretty proficient at it, so that is how I would do it if I was actually doing it. I'll show you the other method. So we're going to select our pen tool, which is the letter P, or this tool here. And we're going to start on our outer edge of our bleed, and we're just going to draw to the point, like you want to match points. Anywhere inside there is fine. And back out. And you can see that it's given it that same gradient color as this. And now all I'm going to do is take this shape and weld it to this shape. Using the Unite tool. Now I'm just going to take my eyedropper and tell it to copy that. So now I have bleed added to that shape, and it's the right color and all the things. So now there's this shape, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing. So I'm drawing from the outer edge of the bleed, matching points, and going back out. What it looks like out here doesn't matter at all. What matters is that it matches on the inside of the bleed. Oh, no, not that one. This one. So I'm uniting, and I'm coloring it the same as this one. Now, arguably, I have now changed the pattern of the gradient, because before the gradient was starting on this edge, so that blue kind of shape. Here, I'll turn up the opacity so you can see it. This dark blue started over here. And now that I've added about a 1/4 inch to it, now the dark blue is starting over here, which means that this yellow area used to start more over here, like a 1/4 of an inch over. And now it starts more to the left. And honestly, in this situation, nobody's going to notice, not even you. So I'm just going to leave it. But if you really wanted to get picky about it, you could draw yourself a 0.25 inch box. I'm going to get rid of that color because that's annoying to work with. You could put it, I don't know, about there. Select your shape and press the letter G, and that will grab your gradient tool. And then just grab it and drag it over about a 1/4 inch. So I think we started about there. Now, if I move that over the same width of that box approximately, it's going to put me just on the side of that building in the background, I think, somewhere over here. So now technically we are in the right spot, and we can turn our opacity back down to 23%. So that's how you do that. In my opinion, I don't think it's necessary, but in some situations it is, and now you know how to do it. So thank you so much for watching today, and please hit the subscribe button if you learned anything today, and tell everybody you know about our channel. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.